Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome back to Virtue's Last Reward. Let's see what happens when you make bad decisions.
結果は倉庫内のディスプレイに表示されます。お疲れ様でした。アンビデックスゲートを開放します。
シグマ、どっちを選んだの?
You'll find out in a second. You didn't see me push the button? Huh, well, you'll know in a moment. What you want to do after that is up to you. You can come with me if you want, or you can stay here. Your choice.
それってもう、裏切りを選んだって言ってるようなもんじゃん。
I grinned and headed towards the display. Oh gosh, he's really evil. He's really evil if he's grinning. Oh, that's funny.
アンビデックスゲーム第2ラウンドの結果を発表します。一同、画面にご注目ください。
Oh boy. Oh boy, let's see how everyone else did too. Okay, obvious. Wow, they both allied. Good. And, oh, no, wait, Cork doesn't die. I'm an idiot. Oh. I thought Cork had only 1 point. Okay. Okay. Don't mind me, I'm just being an idiot. Don't worry.
結果は以上のように確定しました。各自、
So we didn't kill Cork.
バンドルの数字をご確認ください。
Okay, so yeah, we didn't kill Cork, but we did betray him. Good thing Tinmyoji's not around to put his hands around my neck. Well.
四つ葉、これは一体どういうこと？
ごめん。でも、投票したの。
It was totally Clover. She held me down and did it.
シグマなのね。シグマ、どういうことなのか説明してくれる？
I'm a terrible monster. Oh, I totally forgot I was supposed to do this. I mean, it obviously doesn't mean that we're at the end of a path, but it definitely looks like we might be. What's there to explain? It's exactly what it looks like. I'm getting out of here. You do the same thing, Dio. I don't want to hear what you have to say.
私は
When they all turned to look at Clover, I made my move. See you losers later, dude! My feet pounded across the metal floor of the warehouse as I ran for the number 9 door. Don't want to hear it, Dio. He'd have to do better than shout if he wanted to stop me. It was closer. I was almost there. I took one last running leap and slammed into the wall, the unlocking device right in front of me. With a yell of triumph, I threw the lever down. Oh, this is somewhat exhilarating. Being the bad guy is fun. Screw you, losers. You can come if you want, Clover. The door began to open. A heavy metallic grinding noise filled the room. His voice sounded almost surprised. I turned to face him. Sorry, but it looks like this is goodbye.
Sigma.
Don't worry. I'll go to the police as soon as I get out, and come back with help. I'm not going to just leave you all here to die. Yeah, considering how much he's betrayed, I wouldn't trust him either. Really? Maybe you should get your eyes checked. Not a whole lot they can do about it.
ダメよ。許せないわ。病人であるクオークが投票できないのをいいことに裏切り、そんなのあまりにも卑怯よ。
同感だな。
私もそう思います。
よし、それじゃ奴をとっ捕まえるぞ。いいな。
分かったわ。
了解だ。
任せてください。
Hey now, don't do anything you'll regret. This door only opens once, you know. If you stop me, then...
観念しろシグマ。行け！
Quick, Sigma, do something. Duck through the door? I spun back around to face the door. There it was, right in front of me. Freedom. I leapt for it. Or, at least I tried. Ooh! Your freedom's gone, buddy. And now you're gonna be stuck with everyone and they're all gonna hate you and you might get choked to death by Tenmyoji. It happened in the blink of an eye. Suddenly, my cheek was being pressed against the cold steel floor of the warehouse. No, let me go! I wanna go! See you losers later!
9の扉が開放されました。9の扉閉鎖まで残り9秒です。
Crap! Let me go! Let me go! I could feel something huge, heavy, and metal pressed against my back. Kay had to be holding me down. I flailed and kicked, but it didn't do any good. What are you doing? You're just killing yourselves. The door only opens once. If I don't...
分かってるわ。四つ葉、行きなさい。私たちの中で BP が目標値に達してるのはあなたしかいないの。つまりあなたしかこの先には進めないってこと。
でも
これは上官の命令よ。
Oh.
あなたが外に出て助けを呼んでくるの。
そんな。
いいからしのごの言わずに行きなさい。扉が閉まったらもう終わりなのよ。誰一人ここを出ることはできなくなるわ。だから。
The door had already begun to close. The space was narrowing quickly, but it was still wide enough for a single person to make it through.
分かったわ。それじゃ仕方がないわね。
I couldn't see what had happened, but I heard enough to guess. Alice had shoved Clover through the door. Looking up, I could see Clover's feet just beyond the doorway.
アリス。
お願い、助けを呼んできて。頼んだわよ。
アリス。アリス。アリス。
I'm pretty sure she didn't say that. Well, that sucked.
9の扉を閉鎖しました。これにてノナリーゲームは
Man, that was kind of sickening the way Sigma was like, I'll see you losers
お
later.
疲れ様でした。なお、ゲームの終了に伴い、施設内にある9の扉以外のすべての扉は開放されます。どうぞごゆっくりとお過ごしください。
You know, I bet Tenmyoji probably already knows, though. I mean, just because he's hearing all these messages, and he knows that if he's not dead, that, well, you know, somebody got out. He's not dead, so that means that he wasn't betrayed, and he could probably look at Quark's bracelet and tell that he was.
残りの余生をこの施設の中で。
Interesting. To be sure. So yeah, that didn't go well. That didn't go well at all. That's what you get for stabbing someone in the back. You lose. You scumbag. You bag of scum. Sigma, I can't believe it. Why would you betray? Why would you do it twice? Alright, so what do we got? We've got Clover game over. So it looks like we'll be going for this one next. Now, it definitely has room to expand, so it wouldn't surprise me if we, in fact, did go a bit more. We're going to jump back and go ally and see what happens. So, I'll be right back. Ally or betray?
3、2、
Well, you know, being mean isn't always fun, especially when you get pinned down and you can't leave. We'll go with ally this time.
結 アンビ
シグマ、どっちを選んだの？
You didn't see me push the button?
うん。
Huh. Well, you'll know in a moment. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Let's go. Why would you say that? I gave her a light pat on the shoulder and headed towards the wall where the results would be displayed. So assuming that everything's going to stay the same. Yeah, it looks like it did. Which would mean now all three of us would have 8 points. Of course Dio would betray that bag of scum he is.
結果は以上のように確定しました。
I'm just glad Phi didn't step in and kill Tenmyoji.
各自バングルの数字をご確認ください。
シグマ。
Obviously, why would I possibly choose betray? That would just be such a terrible thing to do. Yeah, Quirk is sick, a kid, and unable to vote. I couldn't bring myself to betray someone like that. Oh, I feel so bad now, I really do.
ありがとう。
No need to thank me. I only did what anyone would have. So, you guys chose ally too?
当たり前じゃないか。天明寺の BP は1で、おまけに投票先は強力に設定されることが決まっていた。その状況で裏切りなんて選べるは
Yeah,
ず
from
が
what
ないだ
I've
ろ
seen of Phi, she seems to be willing to betray, but not to the point of death. That's what I've noticed so far about her.
もしも私たちが裏切りに投票してしまったら、天明寺さんは。
Yeah, you didn't have much choice. Alice, Kay, and Dio, on the other hand, seem to have had a less pleasant round.
ちょっと何考えてんのよディオ。裏切りを選ぶなんて正気の沙汰とは思えないわ。私を殺そうとしたの？
Oh yeah, he
別に
was.
そういうわけじゃ。
Oh no, I know he's willing to kill to get where
じ
he
ゃあ
wants
ど
to
ういう
be.
つもりなのよ。もしもこっちが強力に投票してたら私は今頃。
バングルに仕込まれた注射器が作動し、命を失っていたでしょうね。
I mean, you could take that the other way as well, but I think that Alice has a little bit of a hand in that she was defending herself.
だからそういうことだよ。アリスの BP は1だったから、お前らが協力を選ぶはずはないと思ったんだ。つまり状況から考えて、お前らが裏切りに投票することはほぼ確実だったわけで、それを知りながら協力を選ぶなんて自
No,
殺
it
行
wouldn't
為
have
だ。
been suicide. You would have lost 3 points. You would have been at 3. You wouldn't have been dead.
あなたの BP は6もあるんだから死なないじゃない。
Scumbag, even though it's not really your fault.
まあすぐには死なんだろうな。だがほとんど死刑宣告を受けたに等しい事態にはなる。しかもその宣告は俺だけに下されるものじゃない。K 以外の全員に下されるものだ。
どういうことよ。
わからないのか。お前らの投票先は裏切りでほぼ決まっていた。その状況で俺が協力を選んだら K の BP はどうなる？
6+3 で9に。
And knowing Kay, he would have booked it and said he was going to help
だろ
people.
そうなったらもうゲームは終わ
And
り
it's
だ。
kind of hard to hold down the man in the big metal suit.
人生も終わり。K は9の扉を開いてこの施設から出
He
ていく。
blowed his popsicle stand.
残りの8人はここに取り残されたまま不毛な一生を終えることになる。分かったか？だから俺は裏切りを選んだんだよ。アリス、お前を含めて K 以外の全員を救うためにな。
I'm pretty sure you thought of all that while you were sitting in the AB room trying to come up with an excuse for this. But whatever. Alice gritted her teeth and scowled fiercely at Dio, apparently trying to think of a rebuttal, before finally snorting indignantly and stalking away. Shortly thereafter, the warehouse was filled with the rumbling sound of the door sliding shut.
アンビデック クスゲートが閉鎖されました。アンビデックスゲーム第3ラウンドは星の回です。ゲートは星のマークが記されたカードキーにより解除されます。なお、このカードキーの
Now, we've never managed to get to that point so far yet. We've gone through almost half of the game, and we still haven't gotten to the point where we could even use the star keys.
これを用いることにより、アンビデックスゲートは無限に開放することができます。
As many times as we want, huh? Then that means...
星のカードキーを使えば何度でも AB ゲ
That
ー
is
ムが
correct,
でき
that's
る。
exactly what I just said.
そういうことなんじゃない？
なあ、そういやゼロウサギがこんなこと言ってなかったか。
AB ゲートが閉まると同時に、それから
Yeah, he did. Can you guys all show me your bracelets? I want to see all our colors and groups are this time. Within moments, a series of wrists were extended for me to examine. Okay. Oh, I've got to make this go forward. I see. Luna and Clover are a cyan pair, and Phi and Alice are a magenta pair. The remaining three are all solos. Kay is red, Dio is green, and I'm blue. So, how are the groups supposed to work for the next round? I think the next doors are going to be the white ones down in the Floor B warehouse.
ああ、アリスたちのチームから。
Okay.
この倉庫でシグマと四つ葉を待っている間にな。
Yeah, so lay it out for us. How are the groups going to shake out this time? Phi nodded and began to explain. We want white. Okay, so there's three options yet again. We have... Okay, so I could pair up with Tenmyoji and Quark, and... because I'm not a scumbag, Tenmyoji might be a little bit more trusting of me this time.
おや、次はパターン A だけなのですか？
そうだ。
Oh, that's it? Okay.
白の第二扉を開くにはこの組み合わせ以外はありえ
I
ない。
guess that's true considering you're trying to make white.
ちなみに天明寺とクオークはこの場にはいないが、二人が黄色のペアであることは間違いないだろう。そうじゃないと青のソロであるシグマが誰とも組めないことになってしまうからな。
悪夢だわ。またしてもディオと組まなきゃいけないなんて。
Yeah, you guys really hate each other, don't you?
アリスに夢はお似合いだろ。不思議の国を渡り歩いてきたんだから。
Okay. So I guess we're going to Tenmyoji and Quark, and I guess it's good in this situation.
それでこれからどうしましょうか。
I guess it's good that we didn't betray Quark, because at this point, if we had, Tenmyoji might be trying to kill us.
白の第一扉が開放されるまでにはまだだい
We
ぶ
should
時間が
probably
あ
go
るみた
tell
いですけど。
Tenmyoji what's going on. Yeah, about 80 minutes.
とにかく気になるのはクオークの容体だな。
I mean, that's all we've really been doing so far has been trying to find Quark, and now that we found, you know, in all the other playthroughs. But since you know where Quark is now, all we really need to do is know where, like, just go and find him. We haven't really been interested in anything else.
ラジカル6の感染症はポットでは治療できないようだし。
ダメ元で抗ウイルス薬アクセラビルを探してみる？
I guess we could do that, yeah.
そうだな。みんなも手伝ってく
We
れ
should
る
go
か。
check up on Tenmyoji to make sure he isn't dead. You know, he didn't unfreeze Quark, and then Quark found a scalpel, and then it's all over.
もちろんです。
わかりました。
了解だよ。
しゃあねえな。
At least so far, nobody's died yet, that we know
俺も
of.
手を貸してやる
Other
よ。
than that one lady.
シグマは
Of course I'll help. What kind of a jerk wouldn't?
よし。それでは別れて捜索することにしよう。
Oh, sorry about that. I just yawned really loudly. After some discussion, Dio and Kay were assigned to the pantry, Luna and Alice to the treatment center, Clover and myself to the pressure exchange chamber.
では CD 開放までの残り時間が10分になった時に B 階に
We all nodded. Kay turned to Alice and Luna.
アリスさんとルナさんは治療室に行かれるんでしたよね。
ええ。
でしたら天明寺さんにもこのことを伝えておいてください。
わかりました。
Assuming you haven't died.
それから集合時にはクオーク君を連れてくるのを忘れずに。病と戦っている最中にポットから出すのは気が引けますが、いやクオーク君のバングルがなければシグマさんも天明寺さんも白の第二扉を開けなくなってしまいますからね。
了解よ。
さあ、そうと決まれば早速行動開始だ。
Everything seems to be going decently well now.
行こう。
I mean, I know Cork isn't doing well, obviously, but nobody's dead yet that we know of. And everyone isn't at each other's throat much. I know that, Alice and Dio kind of hate each other, but they haven't, done anything yet. With a final nod to one another, we split up, each team heading in a different direction. So we're going to the PEC again. And obviously this is a replica, very much so, of the actual room that you get out of after the 9 room, or the 9 door. So I'm wondering if there's going to be, this feels like this would be a very important room to search very well. So, this is the pressure exchange chamber.
いや、正確に言うと、減圧
Obviously.
準備室だな。この部屋は2層構造になっていて、減圧室は下の方にあるらしい。
どうして知ってるの？
アリスから聞いたんだよ。アリスはこの部屋を探索した3人のうちの1人だからな。
Did you talk to her when you were waiting for us back in the warehouse?
そうだ。
That seems suspicious. Well, let's head downstairs then.
そうだね。
And that's the exchange chamber. I wonder, does it actually lead anywhere in this? So, this is the real thing.
そうらしいな。
Why do they have something like this in here?
これもアリスからの受け売りなんだが。
Apparently, the pressure inside the facility was a lot higher than the pressure outside. That was part of a system designed to keep the virus from getting in. It did mean, however, that we need to go through a decompression process in order to get outside.
ほら、準備室の壁際にずらりと防護服が並んでただろ。あれはウイルスの感染を防ぐためのもので、あれを着てこの減圧室に入らないと外には出られないんだとさ。
I see. Whoa. Then that newspaper article was right? Oh yeah, the one, yeah, we kind of assumed that was
その
fake,
可能
didn't
性は
we?
高いと言わざるを得ないな。
So the air out there is teeming with Radical 6.
ああ。
ねえ、もう一つ気になったことがあるんだけど、
なんだ？
さっきのファイの話によると、防護服を着てこの減圧室に入れば外に出られるってことにならない？
ああ、それはダメらしい。減圧室の奥の方にある扉、がっちりと溶接されてて開かないみたいなんだ。
Darn it. Just one door between us and freedom.
それを言うなら、Q の扉だって同じだろう。
There's a few more doors, but yeah. Okay, yeah, but...
まあとにかく、今はアクセラビルを探す方が先だ。クオークを助けてやらないと。
そうだね。
それでは私は上の準備室の方を調べてみる。シグマと四つ葉はこの回を頼む。
Got
了
it.
解。
So we gonna have an interesting conversation with Clover while we're down here? We looked everywhere we could think of, but turned up nothing. Eventually, I couldn't keep my mouth shut any longer. Hey, what do you think the deal is with this stuff about the world being infested with some crazy virus? A pandemic seems like it would make the news, but I don't remember hearing anything. Wait a minute. You mentioned it, didn't you? Back when Dio was asking questions. We were in the infirmary. It was right after Cork lost it.
お前ら、ウイルスが蔓延してるなんてニュース聞いたことがあるのか？
それはないけど、でも。
And then Alice said,
ウイルスがばらまかれるという情報なら耳にしたことがあるわ。
So, what's the rumor she was talking about? I got the feeling you and Alice were talking about the same thing. Clover, what do you know? What are you and Alice anyway? I heard you guys belong to some sort of organization, but what is it? And why is she your commanding officer? Clover was quiet for a long time. She bit her thumbnail and looked down at the floor. Then, finally, she lifted her head and met my eyes.
わかったよ。シグマは信用できる人
Well,
みたい
thank
だし。
goodness for that.
その代わり、私が言ったってこと、アリスには絶対内緒だからね。
Alright.
約束してくれる？
I got your back, bro. Clover nodded and began to talk. Oh boy. Oh boy. Let's learn. I listened with rapt attention, at a complete loss for words. Here's what she said. Alice and I are the agents of the SOIS, which is under the jurisdiction of the Department of Defense. SOIS stands for Special Office of Internal Security, and we're an elite intelligence division that investigates potentially disruptive or dangerous elements, such as domestic or foreign terrorists, radical political splinter groups, and religious organizations with extreme agendas that could pose a threat to the state or citizenry. Our existence hasn't been made public, so there are only a few people who even know we exist. You're probably wondering how I even got involved in something like that, huh? Well, it started when I met Alice. I told you that I played the non-honorary game twice before, right? Oh, that reminds me. We're gonna do it at the end of the video, but I have some more of those files I can actually read. I was supposed to do that last time and I totally forgot. Well, this was after the second time, so about a year ago. We just escaped, and we were all stuffed into this SUV barreling across the desert. I was driving, and that's when I saw her. Ah, it was the girl from the end. I see. Alice. She was standing next to the road with her thumb out. She was already working for the SOIS, and she'd been on her way to the building we'd been trapped in as a part of her investigation. But on the way there, her car had broken down. We offered to give her a ride, of course. After she got in, we started talking, and it turned out that Alice had gotten a tip that the terrorists she was after were in the building we'd been trapped in. We couldn't see how us playing the non-honorary game had anything to do with the terrorists. But Alice had a suggestion. Maybe the two people who trapped you in there are the terrorists. That didn't seem very likely to us, but we were chasing after them anyway, so we decided to bring Alice with us. Unfortunately, we didn't find them. As far as we know, they're still out there now, on the run. Anyway, we were taken back to SOIS headquarters and put into custody. Oh, thank goodness. I guess they thought there had to be some kind of connection between us being kidnapped and the terrorist group they were investigating. But they must not have found anything, because after a few days of questioning, they let us go. We all went home and returned to our lives. Until the next game! But things didn't go back to the way they'd been. My mom got really worried about me and my brother, since we'd both gotten kidnapped twice now, so she hired bodyguards for us. We must be rich to hire bodyguards. Oh, I haven't told you about my brother, have I? He's super awesome for one. And he was in both of the last two non-honorary games too. So anyway, we'd been grabbed twice. But the people behind the two non-R games were totally different. That didn't matter to my mom, though. So, after all these huge men in black suits followed me, all these huge men in black suits followed me and my brother everywhere. It was awful. We were always being watched. People would look at us funny because we were being followed by a bunch of super creepy looking guys. I couldn't stand it. Just when I thought I'd finally be free, all that was waiting for me was another kind of prison. The only time I was really happy was when I was hanging out with my brother. So we were talking it over one day, and we decided to leave. Like, run away. So we did it. After that, we lived on our own. Thanks, Mom. I worked in a cafe, and he composed music. He plays the harp, and he started writing this kind of new agey music. It got kind of popular, so we didn't have to worry too much about surviving. Sometimes, he'd play at little venues like coffee houses and stuff, and his fans would show up and listen to him play and cry. Or some of them would meet on their own, and recite stuff from the book he'd written and play his songs. I know that sounds kind of weird and culty, but they just do that stuff on their own, okay? My brother doesn't have anything to do with it. Anyway, we did that for a while, and then one day, Alice showed up. I need your help, she told us. We need people who can do what you can do. So we went to the location she gave us, and it turned to be the headquarters of the SOIS, where they'd taken us after the second non-R game. They put us in a room with about a dozen or so other people, who were all about the same age as us. A bunch of them looked familiar too. It only took a moment to realize how we knew each other. They were the kids from the first non-R game. We were all excited to see each other again, and we were hugging and shaking hands and stuff. And then Alice walked in. The whole room went quiet. She walked up to the podium and looked around the room, making eye contact with each one of us. Right now, a terrorist organization is preparing for a major attack. They plan to trigger a viral pandemic. If they succeed, they will strike a massive blow against all of humanity, not just any one country. It's possible that we as a species will die out completely. We are doing our best to prevent this, but we need your help. You are what we call espers. You have the ability to access morphogenic field. We need that. I'm guessing you don't know what any of that is, but basically, we can do this thing that's kind of like telepathy. I mean, it isn't really telepathy, but that's probably the closest thing, okay? Espers can resonate their consciousness with another person through this thing called the morphogenic field. The purpose of the first non-R game was to research that ability. So, they kidnapped kids who had the potential to do it, and threw them into the game. Alice had gathered up the kids from that experiment. Well, I mean, it had been 9 years since it happened, so we weren't really kids anymore. Anyway, everybody she brought in was an Esper. That included me and my brother, of course. I bet you think I'm just making all this up, huh? I don't blame you. It's pretty crazy. I mean, I was even starting to forget that I could do that stuff. Oh, now I'm really sad that I want to play the first game again, but without, like, the memories of knowing about it. So when I heard Alice's story, I was like, screw that. I was trying to move on with my life, and now some shady government creeps wanted me to use some weird ability I had for them? No way. I wasn't even sure I could do it anymore. Some of the others felt differently, though, and they told Alice they'd do it. It was a job after all, and most people wouldn't turn down a salary like that. Oh, right. I forgot to tell you, she told us how much they'd pay us if we'd helped. It was a lot. More wealth than you can imagine. But I was still totally against doing it. My brother told me he'd go along with whatever I decided, so I decided we were leaving. A couple days passed, and then Alice showed up at our apartment. She didn't waste time. The people behind the first non-R game might have been a part of the terrorist organization Alice and the SOIS were after. Wasn't that, she asked, something I might want to know more about? That got me curious. My brother too. But the clincher was what Seven said to us. He was one of the guys that got abducted with us for the second Nonary game. She called him on the phone right then and there, and handed it to us. You guys are the only people who can do this. We don't know where Junpei is. Don't know where Junpei is? He's gone off to travel the world looking for Akane. Oh, I guess that makes sense. I haven't been able to get a hold of him. Please, just do me a favor and help Alice out. Junpei, like Seven, another participant from the second Nonary game. Akane, one of the people behind the second Nonary game. Seven was a Japanese policeman, which was probably how Alice got in touch with him. Anyway, that did it. My brother and I agreed to join the SOIS. For the next couple of months, all we did was train. Half of the time was general knowledge and technical skills an SOIS agent needed, and the other half was learning to strengthen our Esper abilities. They'd actually known about Espers for quite a while, and had a lot of techniques that help us get better and stronger. After several months of hard work, we were finally ready for our first field missions. Mine was an infiltration. My brother stayed at the base so I could relay information back through him. I was supposed to sneak into a research facility, posing as one of their workers, then use the morphogenic field to transmit what I found back to my brother. But everything went wrong. It was a trap. The whole research facility was fake, and I got captured. Alice had to come and rescue me. I'd been sending information about the inside of the facility to my brother, and Alice used that information to come and find me. As soon as she got there, she picked me up and carried me out. I was relieved and happy to be alive and free, but I also felt ashamed and miserable. While she was carrying me back out, I started to cry. She was just so cool, and I wasn't. I wanted to be just like her. So from that day onward, I did everything I could to be more like Alice. Our infiltration ended in failure, but we did manage to get something useful. In fact, we were able to figure out where their headquarters was. The directors decided that December 25th, 2028 would be the day we would strike. This time I promised myself we wouldn't screw it up. I was finally going to get some answers about something that had been with me for most of my life. But then, on December 22nd, 3 days before the raid, Alice and I were attacked by people in gas masks while we were going over our plans. And we're back to the game. And when you were woke up, you were in the warehouse. All of that talking seemed to have tired Clover out. Tired Clover? Tired Clover out, yeah. Well, that was a lot of talking for myself as well. I think we're gonna end it there. Let me pull up the secrets and figure out which of these were okay to talk about. Hold on, let's get to the page. Alright, this one. Let me pull up the ones that are okay for me to read. I'll be right back. Alright, I've got this on the list. I'm going to put something in the video ahead of time, which you've probably already seen, but this is going to be my last warning, just in case somebody hasn't seen 999 and they're watching. This is going to be my last warning I'm going to give about that this is going to be spoilers from 999. If you haven't in fact seen or played that, I would highly recommend not doing it unless you just at this point don't care. In which case, you know, this is going to be spoilers from 999 yet again. So I've been told I can read Treatment Pod, Cold Sleep, CAS, the past two Nonary games, and Nonary Veterans. I've been told not to read Esper Resonance or Neostigmine yet. I'm pretty sure Esper Resonance is probably okay at this point, but just to be safe, I'm not going to go over it. Neostigmine is probably not going to be safe for a bit, I imagine. So, Treatment Pod, an amazing machine that augments an individual's natural ability to heal, strengthens their immune system, accelerates their metabolism, and can cure many otherwise incurable diseases. It can even create personalized medicines, perform gene therapy, and even repair the effects of radiation damage. What an incredible machine! It's not that incredible if it can't cure Radical 6, you say. Yes, well, I guess you've got a point. But don't worry, it also has a function called cold sleep. Cold sleep uses CAS freezing to freeze the entire body without damaging it. That way, even if the disease you have can't be cured, you can be frozen until a cure is found. Which is the idea of cryogenically freezing someone in now times, though up until now we haven't really found it to be very effective, and freezing the human body has this nasty effect of, like, killing them because it ruptures all of their organs and stuff like that. I think it's like the way ice freezes does nasty things to the human body. So it basically destroys it, from what I've heard. Alright, cold sleep. There are generally two types of cold sleep. The first involves lowering your internal body temperature. This reduces your basal metabolic rate and induces a state similar to hibernation. In other words, your body's still actively functioning, just very slowly. The other sort of cold sleep is like the one in this game. This involves freezing your body to essentially lock it in whatever state it was in. Until recently this was impossible, because the expansion and crystallization that took place during the freezing process irrevocably damaged human tissue. Yeah, that's what it was. In the world where this gameplay takes place, however, CAS technology has overcome this hurdle and made cryonics a reality. The recitation rate is nearly 100%. In fact, you'd be much more likely to die in a plane crash, which means that freezing yourself to visit the future is safer than flying from Tokyo to Milan. CAS stands for Cells Alive System. It allows organic tissue to be safely and non-destructively frozen. In this game, CAS is used to put people in cold sleep. It supercools the subject with a magnetic field and causes them to freeze almost instantly, preventing crystallization. In real life, the problem comes when you try to thaw something out, which also must be done instantly. In this game, however, the technological magic of the treatment pod makes returning from cold sleep possible. So that's what it is when things freeze, when liquid freezes, it expands. Which I think causes stuff like blood cells to rupture, and it causes, it just causes things to, like, rupture and break. Which is why it doesn't work with humans, as it is now. Though I think it has been hypothesized that if it was done instantly, that you could prevent it from expanding, is the idea. I'm not sure how viable that would be in the future, but that's the idea. We have the past two nonary games. November 2018, 16 children were reported missing. In actuality, 18 children were taken, but 2 were never reported. The person in charge was someone we refer to as H. The purpose of the game was to conduct experiments on morphogenic resonance with the children as test subjects. I won't go into specifics here, but the short version is that this was the first nonary game. November 1st, 2027. A total of 9 people participated in this session. They were abducted just as the children had been. This time H was not in charge of the game. Clover was a participant in both games, and now she finds herself playing the nonary game yet again. And nonary veterans. So we have Ace, Snake, Santa, Clover, Junpei, June, Seven, Lotus, and... oh, Kubota. It's the guy that blows up. Junpei is the hero of 9 Hours, 9 Person, 9 Doors. Interesting. Hero. I like that. And Clover is still Clover. Alright, well I hope you guys enjoyed that. Next time we'll continue from here. And I guess we're going to another room later. What is our, whoops. We still haven't expanded our map. Not saying it couldn't, but as of yet it has not been expanded further. So we'll come back here and see what's going on next time. Thank you guys for watching. Bye!